doing this for a lot of today. Sun's going down. My lighting is different. I'm annoyed that I'm doing something like this, but also I feel like kind of I needed to. Like I'm, yeah, like all right, putting airing out the dirty laundry and whatnot. You take it for whatever you want to take it for, but at the end of the day, like I said, I spent a good deal of time figuring out, like, all right, how do we spin this into something that can be learned? Because a lot of people have been hurt in a lot of different ways from the temper tantrum era, and from bad decisions in bad ways. And I don't think anybody really takes it seriously because we sugarcoat and we hide things, and we don't call things what they are out of, we'll call it respect, fear. I don't know. But I've been struggling a lot because I tried to take a break from Decks and Drafts so I can go be the change that I wanted to be, and I felt that I did a pretty decent job at that. I'm proud of the things that I did for Genesis, and I want everybody who was a part and put in a lot of effort to be proud of what they did. And I'm sad that the final thing, I don't know if that's going to see the light of day. I have no clue. But I'm sad at how it all went down, but it's also kind of important to be like, hey, this is things that people suffered in a lot of ways, and there are things to take from this so it doesn't happen again. And also, you know, we can be better if we just don't sugarcoat and just don't hide and let the internet come up with their own random speculations of things. And like I said, I'm keeping certain details away out of, I don't even know what the fuck I'm respecting anymore, but I'm still going to do a little bit of that. And then take us somewhere. Part of the reason for this is I skipped anger. Anger is usually a thing that like helps you kind of snap into a moment of like depression and acceptance if you're going to play the grief game. It is a thing that like you let it out, and then that gives you a chance to kind of reflect. I skipped that phase. I haven't skipped that in a long goddamn time. The last time that I went straight to rage for something that was intentionally malicious and targeted at abusing other people, and you know, I was a part of that. The last time was at a time where I was suicidal. It was with a job that I should not have been given, where we were all taken advantage of in the worst goddamn ways, and then left hung out to dry in the process. And if anything, in a weird subconscious way, this may be triggering that, because I'm going to tell you right now, this story gets worse. And that blows my mind that this gets worse. Especially here. I made the decision on 3/24 to end my relationship with Haunted Castle Gaming effective April 1st. So basically, like, end of the month, I am done. The end. That's it. The end. And we move on. I move on. Somebody moves on. I don't care. Moved on. I sent an email over to Asa the same day as my baby shower, which I got a little bit into trouble for focusing pretty heavily on baby shower because this thing has consumed me. It has consumed me in something that I'm just going to call workforce trauma for lack of better reason. And if you know me more, if you know me personally, you know the darker history behind that. We're not going to get into it here. But I did during my baby shower, and during that baby shower, I also learned what I've been putting at risk, because our friends, our family by which I mean friends. I'm not close with my actual family. Family by which I mean friends, but like our little community of me and Sam and and the Buffy, the Elizabeth Azalea, our daughter. They came to our baby shower in force, and it was cool. And they took phenomenal care of us as far as like things they gifted and stuff like that. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't deserve any of this. I don't deserve any of you. I have thrown between things that I do for hobbies and things that I've done, just losing my mind trying to find, like paying work and even the last months where I wasn't getting paid, of like, I'm doing all of this work still. And then I've got to kind of I've got to do extra things elsewhere to make up for the fact that I'm not getting paid for this. I gave up a lot of personal relationships for this, or at least I thought I was giving up a lot of personal relationships for this, and that was wrong. I was wrong on that, and that was equally painful. That was another one of my follies of this amazing group of people who showed up to our baby shower. Just, I don't deserve any of them. I still don't feel that way. But I sent the email the same day, and it wasn't nice. And then we chatted on the 27th. And on the 27th is when I learned that Asad has also made the decision. So like I said at the very beginning, I don't necessarily know if maybe I was an impact in this, but I was leaving, and then the next day Asad and I chatting, he's like, I think I'm shutting this down too. Part of me wasn't necessarily surprised. Also, part of me didn't care. Again, I was beyond care of what happened. That was over. But it was ironic. It was ironic. And after an hour and like 20 minutes, the company was literally on the verge of cake or death. We could have gotten acquired, and we could have had like TG player and a run, and we might have had a really serious, solid, amazing path forward. Or we chose death. Kind of wild. And it blew my mind. There were a lot of things that went well. The recapping from ages fucking back. We had stores coming in. We had these pockets of growth. We had CCG player. We had investors looking at us and saying, hey, this was awesome. We had people who were looking our way organically, and we were getting little sales and little pockets here and there. We were getting people in a funnel, and things were moving forward. That was very, very cool. And it's all things that if we weren't crippled, if it was all actually going towards the forward progression of this company, we probably could have done something with it. But instead, we had this random thing that held us back. And it's not the only thing that was doing damage, mind you. The weird relationships we had with the printing, the weird relationships we had with distro. My God, the fact that we got distro contracts, but they already had product they were trying to liquidate. They were like, are you kidding? I would get them. I was like, hey, we got a distro contract. Awesome. We can sell some product. No, they already have some. Like, we made $0. At this stage, so many little sins of the past just kept creeping in. And then naturally there was the conversation around, like, Asad going bankrupt. This was a loan where the company was attached to it as collateral, meaning trademark was. So like the company was going to go under. If it was going to go bankrupt, the company was going to go under with it. So that was like at risk. Like, these are new things. But additionally, also, just to make it worse, when it came to the investor conversation, we also learned that there was no path for most of us. They weren't interested. Like, this is speculative because I don't entirely know. This is I both heard it directly from Asad as well as kind of the grapevine a little bit. But there was no real plan. Like, the investors didn't really care about the game. And they definitely didn't care about me. There was no path forward for me. No matter what happened, there was no way in fucking hell I was actually getting this kind of full-time job that I had been, like, putting a little effort into trying to make happen. No, that wasn't a thing. Wasn't a thing. So when I heard about the closure, the first thing out of my head, was, oh no, we succeeded. Take all those things that we did. There were new players who were buying in. There were new stores who were buying in. Some bought in big. There were all these partner relationships. Like, in 9 months with CCG player meant nothing. So I was pissed. But also I had animosity towards the community. And I was pissed at the Genesis community as well. And that's something that I'm appreciating what kind of really was going on, but also I was we put in a lot. I put in a lot to try to, like, appease them, and things that, like, we had like a store championship series. We were trying to, like, trickle in spoiler series. We were trying to do all these things to, like, get them engaged and get them excited and be like, these are the types of things that normal communities get excited about. And it never felt like it was anything meaningful. It never led anywhere meaningful. Nobody talked about it afterwards. Half the people who were, like, really big gung-ho people, like, it wasn't even an acknowledgement of, like, that we even said anything. It was all like, okay, and then nothing. And that sucked. And there's more to that story that is not me saying, like, the community is garbage or anything like that. There's a little bit more to that, which is basically, it kind of continues the realm of, like, we really abandoned them hard, and we set a behavior of abandonment and just a lack of communication, and these little moments didn't mean anything because the community and members of the community had been putting in so much already, and those were also like, it was like reciprocation was an inconvenience, and that was just the behavior. That was the habit that we had put forward. So of course, when we do something cool and interesting and exciting, that core group, the ones that we would rely on, is like even during like Kickstarter growth and like help us grow, it makes perfect sense. They're like, okay, what's next? Sucked. The other thing that I was worried about when I heard about the announcement was my own fears about the day that it would happen. Because I knew that I was already the center of communication. That was already a big goddamn problem. I had been a punching bag multiple times. And I knew that I was going to be a punching bag again. Like, I knew we were going to announce on Monday. We ultimately announced on Tuesday. I think we announced on Tuesday. I forgot which day it was. But I knew I was in for a day of hell, of a lot of conversations, a lot of people, like, for XYZ reason, they were going to reach out to me. Thankfully, I was able to communicate those, because at the time that people were learning about the end of Genesis, the developer community came together to try to figure out, like, the next steps for the game. And we're going to talk about that later. The next steps for the game, and one of the things I brought up, because they brought me in, which was an honor, was I was worried about what was going to happen to me. I'm terrified of this conversation. And a couple individuals stepped up to be shock absorbers. And they literally said, like, we will help you run the biggest part of this, because we know that Asad is not going to step in front. We know that the company is just going to put out a post, and we're going to put out a thing, and then that's going to be it. And whoever with the company, whoever has a connection, they're going to be the ones who are left to rot. They're going to be the ones who are left to deal with all of this. We all knew that. So for this, I want to give out a special thank you to Will K. This human being, the next game that Will is a part of should be honored to have him. The passion and excitement of this individual is, he did more than he should have to the nth degree, and he was spat on multiple times as a result. I don't even fucking know why. I feel the worst for Will, but I'm also thankful, because he was one of the few people who reached out to me directly and said, I have your back. I have your back. We made the announcement on 4/4. It was a post. I looked at the copy on Monday, and I put out an ultimatum even, of like, you're going to do this or I'm going to do this. I got the copy on Monday. I'm pretty sure we released it Tuesday morning. And I looked at it and I hated it. I tried so hard and came so far. It was like, this was on him. It was like he did it himself, and there was so much of the community that desperately, like, they wanted to help, and we all tried to help, and all we needed was goddamn information. If only we had the kind of the right things that we knew, we could have acted. We could have figured things out. My take on the announcement was, I was offered to be like, if there are things that you feel should be added, please let me know, or feel free to add them, and we can go from there. And I read the thing. I was like, no. These are the words that you chose. And it's like, shucks. No. I let it go as it does. We went out to the community. There was an immediate ETL, exploring the library. It's on the website. It's on the YouTube channel. You can still see it. And it was one of the things that inspired Temper Tantrum 2. Because there was, throughout this entire adventure, there was always the talk of integrity, and the kindness, and just the warm-heartedness of the individual, and the humility of knowing when you were wrong. And that's the thing, because had we known the things that were going wrong, we could have done better as a community. We could have done better as a staff. We would have been fine. We would have made it out of this. We would have been able to plan. But instead, none of that happened. And it was just a fetal position. And those of us who got in front and took that chance with the company to be in front of the community to really try to help it grow, we were the ones who had to start taking bullets. And we took bullets. And that leads to thing number 11. It's a dark thing. Humility, integrity. It doesn't mean shit behind closed doors.